Hi guys, welcome back to my amazing kitchen. My name is Abba. In today's video, we are making some amazingly delicious sausage rolls with a very buttery and flaky crust and some juicy and moist sausage filling on the inside. So come along and let's get right into it. To make our dough, we will need some cold unsalted butter, Greek yogurt, nutmeg, which is actually optional, a little bit of salt, and some all-purpose flour. But you can check the description box down below for all the ingredients and the measurements. In a mixing bowl, you want to go ahead and add your all-purpose flour, and then go ahead and add your nutmeg, add your salt. I'm using pink salt, but any fine salt will do. You are going to mix this together until well combined. Next, you are going to go ahead and add your cold butter, which I have diced just to make it easy to incorporate it into my flour. For a very flaky crust, you want to make sure that your butter is very cold. So I diced my butter and chilled it in my freezer for about 15 to 20 minutes before using it. Next, I'm going to go ahead and rub my butter into my flour with my hands, but you can also use a fork or a pastry cutter. Your flour may look something like this after rubbing in all of your butter, but it is also fine to have chunks of butter left in your flour. Now go ahead and add your cold Greek yogurt and bring your pastry together. The Greek yogurt is going to moisten your flour and help everything bind together beautifully. Next, I'm going to go ahead and add 2 tablespoons of cold water to help bring my dough together. You may need more or less of the 2 tablespoons of water, so you want to add it in a tablespoon at a time. Just like rice, every flour absorbs moisture differently, but the idea is that you want to bring your dough together and be able to form a ball just like this. So add the water until you reach this consistency. Next, I'm going to divide my dough into 2, flatten it out and wrap it with some plastic wrap and chill this in my freezer for about 30 minutes. When you flatten it this way before chilling it in your fridge, it makes it way easier to roll it out afterwards. So now I'm going to pop this into my fridge, allow it to chill for about 30 minutes and then move on with the next step. So whilst our dough is chilling, we are going to move on with our filling, and I'm using half and half minced meat, which I'm going to season with some Italian herbs, some garlic powder. I'm going to add my salt, about a 1/4 teaspoon of some white pepper and some black pepper, a teaspoon of mustard, 1 egg, and about a 1/4 cup of breadcrumbs. Now you are going to go in with your clean hands and mix everything together until your minced meat is no longer crumbly. The egg will help bind your meat beautifully, and the breadcrumbs will absorb some of the moisture that the meat will release and prevent your pastry from becoming soggy. So once your minced meat has come together, you are going to wet your hands with some cold water and shape your meat into a log. Next, you are going to transfer your logs onto a plate and set it aside for later. Now on a clean work surface, you want to sprinkle some flour and bring out your chilled dough and roll it out. You want to roll out your dough as flat as possible and try to keep the shape in a rectangular form if possible. Once you reach your desired thickness, you are going to go ahead and trim off the edges of your pastry. So just trim off the edges until you have a perfect rectangle. So in this video, I am using my pizza cutter to trim off my edges, but you can obviously use a kitchen knife or any sharp object. You want your pastry to be in a rectangular shape because it makes it easier to form it into a log. So once you have been able to cut your pastry into a rectangle, you are going to go ahead and transfer your sausage onto your pastry. So before we encase the sausage with the pastry, I have here my egg wash, which is just a beaten egg with a splash of milk. And I'm going to use that to rub on the edges of my pastry, and this will help it to seal properly. Now go ahead and roll your dough over your sausage until a log is formed. You want to make sure that your sausage is completely covered with the pastry. So you want to press down the seam side down so it doesn't open up during baking. Now go ahead and cut your log into bite-sized pieces or any sizes you prefer. I discovered that using a serrated knife to cut your dough gives you a clean cut, and so I'm using my steak knife here. In the meantime, I have been preheating my oven at 170 degrees Celsius. I also have a baking tray which I have lined with some parchment paper ready. Now transfer your sausage rolls onto your prepared baking sheet and brush it generously with your egg wash before you pop it into your preheated oven. So we are going to be baking the sausage rolls for about 30 to 35 minutes. Remember, we are using raw meat in our sausage rolls, so you want to cook it slow and give it time for the meat to cook properly. And after about 30 to 35 minutes, your sausage rolls are done and my kitchen is smelling so amazing. Once you take it out of the oven, allow it to cool down for about 5 to 10 minutes and then go ahead and enjoy this with whatever beverage that you prefer. Now just look at how flaky that dough is. The dough is so perfect, the way it just crumbles. Oh, it's so amazing. I really hope that you get to try this simple and easy recipe. If you have enjoyed this recipe so far, please give me a thumbs up, comment down below, share, subscribe, and become part of the amazing family. So until I come your way next time with another amazingly delicious recipe, bake this with love and see it radiate through the hearts of your family. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and see you in my next video. Bye!